Dr. Away here, back with another video. And I got a special one for you guys. This one's all about healing and counter healing. Come on, go ahead. Go ahead. I ain't even finna edit out the video. I got my girl with me. Just got done banking that chicken noodle soup. We out here. So this video is all about healing and counter healing. And I actually took the time to test and like really dissect exactly how the healing works so you guys will understand. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I even got notes for this one. I'm trying to get a little bit more professional. You can probably tell by the thumbnail. So what I want to explain to you guys is there is two types, I would say two types of main healing, at least healing in a traditional sense. So you have attack-based healing and HP-based healing. You're probably like, Doctor, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm about to tell you what I'm talking about. So there are certain characters like, I don't even know where my fairy's at anymore. Okay, certain characters like Fairy, for example, their healing, when you read it, it says restores 105% attack of HP. So basically how that number is calculated is that it takes your attack stat, and then the percentage that it shows in there is kind of like the modifier. So in this case, it'll take, I don't know how much it is together, but roughly I have 3,400, maybe 3,500 more so attack. So it'll do, 3,500 times 1.05, which is 105% of my attack. Boom. And then that number is how much that initial heal is for. And then after that, it's just the 35,000 times 0.3 for the 30% over the next two turns. So that's how that works for attack-based healing. And HP-based healing works pretty similar. Slake, Unicorn works that way. And basically how it will work with the HP-based healing is that it's the same concept, but it's just based off your HP. So you'll take 300, like I got 3K health, and then I'll just multiply that times 11% or 0.11, and that's how much healing I'll actually do. Now with the HP-based healing, you'll notice that the numbers will be off because when you're in arena mode, I'm pretty sure it's like 30%. When you're in arena mode, it's like 30% more HP. So because you get the HP bonus, the heal will be for more. Because when I was originally running the test, I was like, okay, well, that's not right. It's like off a little bit. But it's because you get the 30% increase in the arena that it'll be a little bit different. So just now, okay, fine. I don't know what 30% is, but boom, that's how you'll do it. And then this isn't really a way to heal per se, but it's like lifesteal, and it works a little bit different. So a lifesteal character that I can easily show you would be, where is he? Nightwing. And basically how it works is like, it's not like based off your attack. It kind of is, but like when you attack somebody, I don't know how the formula works with attack and defense and stuff like that. But, you do a certain amount of attack, and then, they have a certain amount of defense, and then a certain amount of damage happens because some of the defense mitigates your attack. Fine. So now at that point, that damage number is what that damage number that comes after the attack number that you see, the absorption number modifies that. So let's say you did 100 damage, 1,000 damage rather, to the enemy. You would get 200 HP back because you get 20% damage as HP. So it goes off, I guess you could say, off of the damage number rather than the attack number. It's mainly just to account for the mitigation that the enemy's defense does. Now, there's kind of a pink elephant surrounding all of this because Unicorn is based on his healing is based on ally 20% of the ally's current HP. So the less HP that you have, the less the heal is. And I think they did this with him specifically because he can revive people. So imagine if you could revive somebody and then like fucking full heal them. Like that's kind of busted. But he's like, okay, you won't be able to revive everybody and heal them up indefinitely, because as you get them lower and lower, you know, if the enemy has enough damage, you won't be able to out sustain them as easily. Now there might be certain circumstances where you can, but in a general sense, I don't think you'll be able to. Now I haven't gotten too far in the game, so don't quote me on that, but I think that's the thought process that at least the developers had with this specific character, because he can heal, revive people. So you don't want his healing to be like nutty, for lack of a better word. Okay, so just to give you a little bit more, I kind of went over a few of the characters, but the attack-based heal characters that come to mind for me are Curve, Fairy, Mobula, and Genie. Genie is, I'll count him as a healer. Just shout out to my man, Iron God. He loves fucking Genie. So I had to put him in here because he has a little bit of healing, to be fair. Not much, a little bit of healing. For the HP-based, the ones that come to mind for me are Unicorn, Inky, and Slate. I know that those are not the only ones. And also the attack-based heals, those aren't the only ones that I mentioned. Those are the ones that I'm thinking about, right? So for lifesteal, the main one that comes to mind is Phantom and Nightwing. There's probably more, whatever. Now I want to get into, okay, well, you told me all about healing. It might seem OP to you. I don't really think it is, because you have counter healers, people who directly influence or reduce for how much healing that you actually get, whether it's via lifesteal, HP based, or attack based healing. And don't quote me on this, but it might even affect how much HP you get back when you resurrect. No, I don't think it would, because maybe if they died and they wouldn't be affected, but it would be cool if you would. So like, I don't know how exactly it would work, but maybe it doesn't work on the revive, but for sure it works on, I've tested, I know for a fact it works on lifesteal, HP, and attack based healing. So there's not a lot of characters that can actually counter healing. I don't know if they plan to add more. So healing is pretty popular because there's only 4 that I found. 4 guys that even counter the healing to begin with. And you can't really get anti-heal anywhere at the uncommon, common, rare, or epic level other than Gaia, right? And the healing is pretty generous, I think, for uncommon. You know, the attack itself does damage. It's on a 1-turn cooldown. That's really good. So you can pretty much keep this applied on at least a single target. 40%, 2 turns. Now, Gaia isn't, you know, the strongest. Don't get me wrong. He's not the strongest, but, you know, if the reason why you were losing was anti-heal, then I don't think he's necessarily a bad investment to star up just to have. I don't see the harm in that. And honestly, because I've actually taken the time to really look into the healing, he might not be a bad uncommon to have. Like I was saying in one of my earlier videos, I think Freezy is pretty good. Mobula, he might be on that same list. Like, okay, well, for a support aspect, for the reduced healing, because I didn't see it anywhere else until you get to legendary. So boom, there you go. You know, free to play, or you don't play a lot, Gaia, anti-heal, win your matches against the healers. Now, there's quite a few at the legendary level, and that's where the majority of them are at. And I think they're all dark. I don't think there's any light anti-healers. So I don't know what's up with that. Don't really know. But getting into it, basically Gaia is the great value version of Hades. Hades does it better. The 60% reduced healing, more damage on the ability. At least I believe is 172. I didn't look at the number. I would assume so. And then it reduces its healing 60%, 2 turns, 1 second cooldown like before. It's just upgraded version. It's not too much to say about that. I will compare them at the end. Anubis. Now his healing, his reduced healing is better, 70% for 2 turns, but it's on a 3-turn cooldown, so you won't be able to do this nearly as much. But I will say this this specific ability just does so much damage that I would assume if you could focus that person down, hit Anubis, focus them down, hit them first, boom, anti-heal, huge damage. It would be so hard. You could probably kill them within the next 2 turns. So it may or may not be as good. It's not as consistent, but I still think it's very viable, and it is the strongest anti-heal option in terms of one single target maximum healing reduction. And then the last one would be Nyx, and he's the group, so to speak, is the group anti-heal. And his anti-heal is the weakest by the percentage, but it hits all the targets. It's still on a three turn cooldown, which is fine. I really like Nyx because it does give you that consistency. So when you going against team healers, for example, you know, when you're going against team healers, I think Nyx is the best in those scenarios. And when you're going against, you know, those single target healers, I would say that, you know, if you got a team that's built around focusing down one person at a time versus doing damage to 2 or 3 people at a time, then I really think in those scenarios where you're trying to focus people down, Hades is probably the most consistent option. And then Anubis, if you happen to not have Hades, would be the option for that. But he will do more damage as far as like that one target, and he will give you increased healing reduction. So if I had to rate them, I'm like I said, I really like making use of the uncommon. So like I say, a lot of people might not have access to the legendaries early. So for that reason, I think, you know, just overall attainability and versatility in terms of, okay, you can get this character, you can star him up, you can use him. Gaia. Can't really get much better than that. Now, in terms of overall utility, I think Nyx has it. In terms of focus, as far as the focus people are concerned, I think Hades has it as much as the consistency goes with single target, trying to deal with single target healing. And then Anubis still does a good job, but he's more about a little bit more damage heavy with the anti-healing. Now, don't get me wrong, Hades does a fuck ton of damage, especially against tanks because of the defense reduction. And then you can come in and get the anti-heal a little bit later. And this is 172. I wanted to see something, because I made the comment earlier that I would assume it would be better than 172. Yeah, it's only 140% attack, so yeah. And hopefully this video, I did a good job explaining healing and counter healing. And hopefully this video made you a better master dragon tamer. Go out there and tame them dragons, fuck some people up. Don't let healing fuck with you in this game, because I swear, like, you can focus out the healer, but it's like anti-heal is just so much better, where you don't have to put as much emphasis on killing the healer first. And sometimes it's more advantageous to get the damage out of the way, especially the AoE. So having these anti-healers really does help you with your options in terms of, okay, who am I going to prioritize? It gives you a little bit more flexibility with your team. So I recommend at least you don't have to always have them on your team, because some people are good at rotations where, okay, you put them in, you put an anti-healer in when anti-heal is needed, right? It's kind of more like that, I think, than it is like always run one. But definitely have at least one of these characters leveled up that you can put brands on and use. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Try it out and see if it works for you. Definitely works for me. And I'll see you in the next video.